in your bulletin for our opening song.
Morning. All right. Join in. Here we are, all together as we sing our song. Joyfully, here we are, all together as we pray we'll always be. Join me now as friends and celebrate the unity we share. All as one, keep the fire burning, kindle it with care, and we'll all join in and sing. Here we are, all together as we sing our song. Joyfully, here we are, all together as we pray we'll always be. The freedom we do shout for everybody, and until there is, we do pray. Soon there will be one true family, then we'll all join in and sing. Here we are, all together as we sing our song. Joyfully, here we are, all together as we pray we'll always be. Glorify the one with all our voices, show that we're sincere. By all our deeds, shout the joys of freedom everywhere. Then we'll all join in and sing. Here we are, all together as we sing our song. Joyfully, here we are, all together as we pray we'll always be. Let us make the world an hallelujah. Let us make the world a better place. Keep the smile handy, lend a helping hand, then we'll all join in and sing. Here we are, all together as we sing our song. Joyfully, here we are, all together as we pray we'll always be. There we go.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that very much. Nice upbeat to get us started. I always enjoy that. And as you've probably noticed, Mike is with us today as our musician. And our speaker today is Rev Georgie Richardson. And so nice to have you with us today as well. Okay, and now I light the candle. And as a reminder, every week, this is simply meant to be a visual to remind us of the Christ light that is within all of us at all points in time. There it is. And thank you for fixing the candle.
Oh, it works.
The candle's been giving me a horrible time, so Mike fixed it for me. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to ask Reverend Georgie, if she will please do an opening prayer.
Thank you, Judy. Okay, let's just take a moment and just close our eyes and feel ourselves present, fully present, letting go, releasing of all that's been going on in our life this morning up to this very moment, as we acknowledge the presence and the power of the living Christ within us. And we do so through a consciousness of gratitude. Gratitude, sweet Spirit, that you called to us today and said, go to unity today. There are gifts for you today. Be open and receptive to the interactions, to the music, to the meditation, to the message. Just be present. And so it is in that present beingness, that we celebrate the presence of Spirit, the presence that Jesus called Abba, Father. Thank you, Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, George. And speaking also of presence, presence, like in the here and now. That one. I want to welcome our friends from Seaside. It's very nice to have you with us today. Yes. So we have Dallas. We have Glen Eden Beach. We have Salem. We have Beaver, Lincoln City.
Otis.
I'm getting there. Come on, one side at a time.
Last but not least, Salem?
Well, okay, if that's the one
Winning
you,
City?
if that's the one you're claiming right now.
Oh, it's on. Yeah, we're still talking about where everybody's from.
Yes, I am. And Pat is with us today. It's very nice to see you. It's been a while. And PJ is Lincoln City. Otis, I'll get it. Out in the woods. You live around here someplace, John? I'm here. You're here, okay. And Jason is here, and he's also Otis because he's with us. You know, so we got a pretty good spread here, everything considering today.
You forgot Depot Bay, though.
No, but I said you, yes, I know that.
That was here.
Yes.
Gotta get it.
That's because I wasn't sure if that's Depot Bay or if that's Lincoln Beach.
No, it's Depot Bay.
It's Depot Bay. That,
We're south of Depot Bay.
okay, yeah. That's why I didn't say where. I wasn't sure how it was classed. Now I know. Well, I think at this point in time, we're going to do a congregational song. Is that
Okay.
right?
Practice makes perfect. Remember last week we did I Am the Light of God, song based on the Prayer of Protection by James Dillett Freeman.
Yes, and the words for it are in your bulletin.
I am the light of God, I am the love of God, I am the power of God, I am the presence of God. Where
that's cool. I really like that. I think that's an incredible song. And now I remind you of the prayer box. You'll find the prayer requests on the back of the pews. So anything that you have that you'd like to go into our prayer box, please fill one out. You can bring it and put it directly in the box. You can put it in the prayer corner back there, or even in the brass bowls when they come around. And always keep in mind all of the power that goes into this, because at the end of each month, Nellie collects them and sends them back to Silent Unity, where they're prayed over for an additional month in the Silent Unity Chapel. So a lot goes into that. I like to use it for thank yous. I can say, hey, this was cool, thanks. Okay, and I guess now, John, you're going to do announcements, are you?
My turn?
Well, yeah, kind of.
There's no big dogs here.
Do you have your announcements?
I have metal license,
Oh,
steel trap.
no. Piece of paper. Much safer.
Hi, gang. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out here, all you people who have ever had a father, and everybody. It kind of includes all of us, because there's all a father energy in all of us. So happy Father's Day to every blasted one of us. What a beautiful day it is here at Unity by the Sea. You know, Father's Day is one of my very favorite holidays. That, along with Mother's Day, Easter, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Groundhog Day, a few others.
Oh, birthdays.
Birthdays.
Your birthday.
A few others. It's a favorite holiday. And Reverend Georgie Richardson is here, and that's very special. And Mike Tess is doing his thing. That's pretty special too. So we got a good thing going here today. Speaking of special things, we have reached our world-renowned, nationally acclaimed, and downright fun annual Father's Day event. We're talking major guy food group here. I took inventory before the service, and I found hot dogs, chili, chips, 2 pies and 1 apple pie that you don't have to be so fussy about cutting up. Call it apple crisp.
Crisp.
Okay. Potato salad, buns, I don't know, mustard, ketchup. That's about all I can remember. There was a lot of stuff down there. There were some cookies, but they're gone now. All the major guy food groups. Well, except no beer. But we do have coffee, so it's all good. So join us downstairs after the service for a special time together as we honor the inner guy energy that is a part of all of us. And if you can't stay, grab a few hot dogs on your way out. At last count, we have about 6 hot dogs per person.
Oh, it's more than that.
And Jason doesn't get any because he had breakfast this morning. Okay, have you noticed that we rearranged the furniture a little bit? Okay. One reason is we thought we wanted to shake things up a little. And the other reason is because for our next project around here, we're going to acquire a projector and a movie screen to project stuff on. The screen will occupy that area where what's hers is, and you push a button and it'll come down. And the projector will be sort of in front of it. We're looking to try to get one of these fancy new, what they call short throw projectors that don't have to be about that far from the screen. And we'll do things like show words to music, maybe do a movie from time to time, all kinds of things. No telling what we'll throw up on our screen. No telling what we might put on the screen. Okay, the possibilities are staggering. And we've launched a fundraiser to help with the cause. Originally, I told my sweet red-headed Sweetie Bear, that I was just going to wait until my credit card healed and I was going to buy it. I'm done with this. And the board kind of said, no, we don't want you to do that. We want everybody to get a chance to pitch in and help pay and help contribute to this thing.
And I said, God bless the board.
So I said, okay, we'll do that. We'll set it up as a fundraiser. Like anything we collect downstairs today, we'll go into that. And we've included a cute little blue envelope in your bulletin that's just right for stuffing extra money into to help pay for that. And whatever we collect will be great because I'm going to match it.
Silence.
And finally, I know, don't cheer. Finally, we heard from Kate Monahan and Benny this week. They've been missing for a while, and I got to kind of concerned, so finally found out they've been hanging in Idaho with Kate's brother while recovering from foot surgery. Kate's foot, not Benny's. Now they're in Bend visiting around and doing no telling what, and they'll be back with us in a week or so. So that's what's going on with them. I don't have nothing else. Goodbye.
Yes, you do.
I do? Oh, I do.
Yes, you do.
Page 2. John Meyer.
You all know John.
You all know John. He, like Mike, is one of our wonderful favorite musicians. And we often get to hear John's music around here at least once a month. Well, John is having a concert, or throwing a concert for Unity of Salem. The proceeds will contribute to their Courage to Imagine fund for a new heating and air conditioning system at their church in Salem. So I've got flyers back there at the back table as a reminder. And his concert is going to be Friday, July 6th, from 7 to 9 p.m. in the sanctuary at Unity of Salem. Now, if you haven't been over at Unity of Salem, I think you've been there a time or two.
Maybe.
Yeah, if you haven't been over there, it's a nice place. So we're going to be very supportive of John and of their efforts to get a new heating system, which once they get it, maybe we'll take a picture of it and show it on our nice new screen. Okay, now can I be gone?
I guess.
I'm gone.
And Georgie can very possibly tell us more about the concert that John's doing and all of that. No? Oh, okay. News to you?
I knew he was going to have one, but I didn't know the date or anything, so I got the flyer too, so now I have that.
We do what we can. we do what we can. Oh, hey, now it's time for our monthly affirmations. So if you'll take the little card out of your bulletin, please. We'll do the one for Unity by the Sea first. Moving forward in love, Unity by the Sea is a joyous expression of Christ. And for ourselves, moving forward in love, I am a joyous expression of Christ. And now I have asked Phyllis if she will do the daily word for us. Huh?
Is she great?
Well, kind of.
I didn't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Probably is.
Good morning, my friends. It's so good to see you all. I bless all those who encouraged my self-discovery, growth, and learning. In the United States, today is traditionally an opportunity to show appreciation for fatherly influences. I offer a prayer of gratitude for the fathers who provide necessary guidance, strength, and support for their children. Whether or not we have a masculine influence in our lives, it's encouraging to realize that Spirit lives and loves and moves and has been in being in every single one of us. Spirit encompasses both masculine and feminine aspects. While the softer love associated with a mother seems more appealing sometimes, the masculine aspect of the father role as a mentor, a guide, and a supportive presence is also essential to the proper performance of our spiritual purpose. I give thanks for those who encourage self-discovery, growth, and learning. The righteous walk in integrity. Happy are the children who follow them. Proverbs 27. So it is.
Thank you, Phyllis. And now Mike's going to do some music.
And in the spirit of Father's Day, we're going to do Hallowed Be Thy Name, which is, I guess it's kind of the best thing that we can do for pretty much the ultimate Father. So if you know it, you can sing along with it, because it's been around for many, many years, and it was by an anonymous composer, but I think Joan Baez sang it, was one of the folks of many, many people who've tried it. So let's give it a try.
Hallowed be thy name. Hallowed be thy name. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Hallowed be thy name, on earth as it is in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Give us this day our daily bread. Hallowed be thy name. And forgive us all our trespasses. Hallowed be thy name. And lead us not unto the devil to be tempted. Hallowed be thy name. But deliver us from all that is evil. Hallowed be thy name. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory. Hallowed be thy name. Forever, forever, forever and ever. Hallowed be thy name. Amen, 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 amen. Hallowed be thy name. Amen, 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 amen. Hallowed be thy name. Hallowed be thy name.
Very, very nice. Thank you. Now, guess whose turn it is?
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Mike. That was just great, which is perfect for today. Happy Father's Day, everyone. As John said earlier, you know, we all have that mother and father influence within us. And so on Mother's Day, I always say Happy Mother's Day to everyone. And so on Father's Day, I say Happy Father's Day to everyone as well. You know, I think that Jesus's first priority and maybe his toughest job was to shift people's consciousness as to who and what God is. He had to get God out of the sky and down to earth. So he went with the concept of Father, that which he called Abba. And I'm thinking that was a pretty good thing to do. But I also think that there was a good deal more honor and respect for parents 2,000 years ago than there is today. So that was a good reference point for him to use. It wasn't too hard for him to get across the point that if their physical father wouldn't give them a stone when they asked for a loaf of bread, neither would their heavenly Father. His parable of the prodigal son speaks strongly to this idea. When the young son asked for his inheritance ahead of time, the father gave it to him. And when that boy went out and blew it on wine, women, and song, the father never condemned him. And when the son finally came to himself, figured out that he'd get a better meal if he went home to Dad's house, the father did more than welcome him. He did more than meet him halfway. He ran to greet him and gave him gifts and threw a party to welcome him home. There was no criticism, there was no judgment, and there was no punishment. There was only welcome and love. I think this story must have helped to bridge that gap between an angry God up there in the sky wanting to dish out the judgment and the punishment, and the loving Father, the loving God, the loving Abba, who will meet all of our needs, love us unconditionally, and guide us and take care of us. It is unfortunate that in our day there isn't as deep an honor and respect for parents in some situations. Thankfully not in all, but certainly in some. So when someone comes to me and asks about this creative power that we call God, if the first thing I say is, well, God is called Father, and that person has had an abusive or a harsh relationship with their father, they're not going to want to have anything to do with God. But thankfully, there are many names that we can use for God. Okay, and coming up with a different name for Father is an easy process when we're speaking about that creative process that we call God. Jesus also said God was spirit, and we must worship him in spirit as well. And I find myself using that term spirit a lot. Jesus taught the folks of the day, and of course us too, because we're still depending upon those stories and those teachings 2,000 years later, but he taught them by parable, like the prodigal son. He taught them with concepts like, you are the light of the world, okay? You are the salt of the earth. And he taught them through healing stories. And that's what I want to bring forth this morning. I want to use one of his healing stories. This one is in the book of John, and it begins at chapter 5. So after this, it says, there was a festival of the Jews, and the Jews went up to Jerusalem. Now in Jerusalem, by the sheep gate, there is a pool, which has 5 porticos, 5 entrances into this pool. In these lay many invalids, blind and lame and paralyzed. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. And when Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had been there a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" There's the crucial question. Do you want to be made well? And the sick man answered him and said, "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. And while I'm making my way, someone else rushes down the steps ahead of me." And Jesus said, "Stand up, take up your mat, and walk." And at once the man was made well. He took up his mat and he began to walk. So we have this guy. He's been sitting by this pool for 38 years, and he says that he wants to be healed, but he doesn't have anyone to help him into the water when the angels stir up the water. Excuse me. Now, if we dig a little bit deeper into this story, we'd have to ask ourselves, how did he manage to sit there for 38 years? He had to have someone helping him, someone who was taking care of him, someone who brought him food. Where did he sleep? Someone had to take care of him, his bodily needs, right? But then when it comes to getting himself into that pool, when the angels stir the healing waters, he can't seem to manage to do that on his own. And in his victimhood, he has all kinds of reasons and justifications for this lack of his ability to manage to do this. So let's set him over here for a little bit. We eventually will get back to him. Let's ask ourselves this. When have I resisted the pool of spirit? Not the P-O-O-L, the P-U-L-L. When have I sat there and knew that I had a creative pull going on inside of me and found all kinds of reasons to resist it? I'm too old for that step, no matter what that step might be. I don't have the money. Boy, that's a big one. It's always about money, okay? Then what would happen? What would happen to my primary relationship if I gave in to this divine pull? How would it change my life? Is that something I really want to do? Or am I a lot more comfortable just sitting in my little rut, just doing my own little thing and coming up with all the reasons why I can't do that? When Spirit woke me in the late 1980s and told me I was going to be a Unity minister, I said, okay. I heard and I felt that pull inside of me, and I answered it. So I began to take the steps to prepare myself to apply for acceptance at Unity Village. I took classes. I gathered together credits. I'd never been to Unity Village, had no clue what it was like, and so some friends said, come on, let's go take a retreat. And so they picked me up, took me over to Unity Village so we could have a retreat there, so I could get to see what this place looked like that I think I wanted to go to and attend, okay? And then, in early 1989, my son Scott, who is here today, was hit by a small truck, broke his leg in 3 places, and cracked his pelvic. So obviously, I got involved with helping him. And when October arrived, for the deadline for me to apply to Unity Village, the pool was quiet. There was no movement. The waters in my internal pool were still. October came and went, and I didn't apply. And I asked myself, what's going on? What happened? That was so strong, and now it's quiet. There's nothing in me moving. So obviously I did not apply. Well, a year later, Scott was much recovered, and an event happened in my life that stirred those waters in my internal pool again, and that pull was back on stronger than ever. And that October, I applied for school and was accepted in early 1991. The rest is history, so they say. So sometimes that pull can slow down. Sometimes the waters refuse to be stirred within us. Timing. timing is critical. Timing is everything. So when there is a slowed down or a complete stop, in the words of Reverend Ernest Holmes, who was a founder of a religious science movement, he said, place our affairs in the hands of goodness, love, and wisdom, and place them there with supreme confidence. I love that. Supreme confidence. In other words, go about our daily lives and wait for the waters within to be stirred again until we feel that pull once more. Trust. 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 There was a little article in this month's Science of Mind magazine. You know, they have the daily readings, and this kind of reminded me of what we're talking about this morning, and so I thought I'd share it with you. It's called Solo Journey. They always give a couple of quotes. The first one is from Helen Keller. What I'm looking for is not out there. It is in me. Oh boy. If we could just remember that, wouldn't we be ahead of the game? And Ernest Holmes, in the Science of Mind book, said, I have an inner friend who walks and talks with me daily. He's not afar off, but is within me, a constant companion. And the writer of this month's reading said, our spiritual journey is ultimately a solo one. We may start out with others of like mind, but sometimes there's an impetus to grow in a new direction, away from the group. Our true calling may beckon us into uncharted territory where no path exists. It's our time to embrace uncertainty and to step alone into the unknown, trusting that the way will be shown to us. There's no need to feel guilty, ask for permission to break away, or stay behind with the group to keep the status quo. Solitude is part of our journey, an invitation to know the silent voice of our inner friend, our personal spiritual guide. Leaning into our own inner wisdom, we follow divine direction. Our faith grows as our own path emerges. We surrender to our own evolution. On the journey, we discover the glory of our own worth. It's within that journey that we discover the glory of our own worth. Our holy journey, the one that's right for us, is within our own heart. Often another's insights or the insights of our group help begin our journey of inner discovery. But we are the only one who can sense our own light, learn to listen to its message, and shine the radiance of our own inner wisdom. We can then share our gifts with others on their journey as they discover what's within their own heart. Being part of a spiritual group is a blessing. While we enjoy the camaraderie, it's up to each of us to claim our own spiritual path. And sometimes when we step aside from wherever we are in life to follow that impetus on a different path, all of those people that we were with are pulling their hair out and trying to figure out what's the matter with us and trying to get us back on to that original path, because that's where they are and that's where they want us to stay. When I stepped into unity in that way, I certainly found that. I was at a time of my life when my husband had just passed, and suddenly I was with this group of people that my other group that I'd been with for years had no clue about unity at all. And I was embracing this. And they were upset, some of them. But eventually, many of them kind of got used to the idea, found out what unity was. It's not a cult. Everything is cool. Everything is cool. Okay. How many of you saw The Greatest Show? Okay, a few of us did, okay? It's a show about P.T. Barnum and the beginnings of the circus. Now, he had such a powerful imagination and such a burning passion, and when he began to pull others to him, like the small people, the little people, the lady with the beard, for instance, he saw potential in them that they couldn't see inside themselves. When he found the bearded lady, if you remember, those of you who saw the show, she was in a sweatshop where they were doing a lot of sewing and so forth. And everybody was out on the floor with their sewing machines and so forth, except for her. She was behind a curtain. They hid her away because she was so hideous and so different. But when P.T. Barnum ran up those stairs and stood there, he heard her sing. And he went over to that curtain and he pulled that back and he said, "Come with me." He called her, he pulled her to come and join his organization. He saw the greatness in her and he stirred the waters of confidence and faith and trust inside of her. Spirit is like that, my friends. Abba is like that. Spirit knows our gifts and our talents and our abilities and never looks into the mirror of our ego that says we are not beautiful enough, we are not smart enough, we are not talented enough, we don't have enough money. No one will support me and help me to get into the pool. Spirit asks, do you want to be healed? Do you truly want this career? Do you want this relationship, this opportunity? And Spirit knows our heart. Doesn't listen to our whining and our reasons why it can't work. Spirit just says, take up your mat and walk. Follow me. Trust me. Love me as I love you. Lean on me for greater confidence. Trust me to show you the way. I will never fail you. I will never desert you. I will never judge you, criticize, or condemn you. I will always love you and support you, and I will wait patiently until you get on your own feet and lean into my pull. Take my hand. I will never let you down. Trust, trust, trust. And that, my friends, is the Father, is Abba, that Jesus was teaching us about. Now, I told you I'd get back to the man by the pool. But guess what? I will do that on the 3rd Sunday of July. So be here and tell your friends. Okay? And my message title, John, take note, is called The Test of Truth. Okay? Okay, we're going to take this inside now for just a little bit. Mike's going to give us just a little bit of music in the background. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, if that's comfortable. To put your feet flat on the floor, if that is comfortable. Now take a deep breath and let it go. And as you sigh out that breath, feel how your body releases the tension. So breathe in again, breathing in, and sigh it out. And now just for a few seconds, watch God breathe you as you put your focus on your breath. What in your life are you resisting? What in your life are you offering reasons and justifications and rationalizations why it won't work? How strong is the pull? Do you want to be healed? Do you want to be whole? Can you trust? Can you have trust and faith that if Spirit is pulling and coaxing and guiding you to a greater expression of yourself, that you can lean into that pool, and know you will be taken care of. Step back and witness and just take a glance at your life. Is there a place where you are uncomfortable, unhappy, frustrated, miserable? Is that where you are laying by the pool for 38 years, ignoring the invitation, the pulling energy of Spirit? Is it time to take up your mat and walk? Walk into the light. Begin to see parts of your world in a new way. Maybe closing some doors, opening some new ones. The living Spirit of God is so patient. But always encouraging us to be more than we believe that we are, more than we think we are capable of. Calling us forth from behind the curtain to sing our song, do our dance, speak our truth. Be who we have come here to be, in all of our beauty, all of our wholeness, all of our grace. Thank you, dear God, for your patience. Thank you for your love. Thank you for the multitude of ways that you attempt to get our attention and correct our route and head us down the path that is meant for us. We will think about these things over the next few weeks as we prepare to come back on the third Sunday of July and visit the man by the pool. once again. And so it is. Amen. And now just take a moment and feel yourself inside your body, and when you are ready, you might open your eyes.